Hello everyone, a very good morning to all. This is a second video for the acids and bases, and in this video we'll be discussing about the four concepts of acids and bases. That is Lewis acid base concept, Lux flood concept, Usanovich concept, and solvent system concept. About the Arrhenius and Bronsted model concept we have already discussed in the earlier video. So let's get started. According to the Lewis concept, the acids are this concept was took into account the electron pair donation and acceptance tendency of the compounds. It was uh, proposed by G.N. Lewis in 1923, and this is the most widely used concept for many compounds. So according to the Lewis concept, acids are the electron pair acceptors and bases are the electron pair donors. So this concept was based upon the donation and acceptance of the electron pair. So according to the Lewis concept, acid is anything which has empty orbitals, which is having the tendency to accept the electron pair, and base is anything which is having an extra unshared pair of electron, that is lone pair of electrons, so that it can donate. So reaction between acid and base, that is the neutralization reaction in the Lewis acid base concept, can be termed as donor acceptor reaction, because here base is something which is donating an electron pair and acid is something which is accepting an electron pair. So let us consider some reactions here. We are considering a reaction between ammonia and BF3. Here ammonia is having a lone pair and BF3 is having empty orbitals in its subshell. It is having empty 2p orbitals. So what will happen is that electron pair will be donated from this ammonia molecule to BF3, and the coordinate bond is going to be formed. So this is an acid base pair according to the Lewis concept, and this is the product which is formed here. This product is having a coordinate bond. So according to the Lewis concept, anything which is electron deficient compound which can extend their central atom's valence shell to complete the octet, where octet is not complete, and they have the tendency to extend their central atom's valence shell, can behave as acid. Examples are BF3, AlCl3. So it will accept a pair of electron and get converted to BF4 negative. Now the octet is complete and it is satisfied. So that is why, as there is always a tendency to complete the octet to acquire extra stability, so it has tendency to accept the pair of electron. So it behaves as Lewis acid. The second species which can behave as second category which can behave as acids, Lewis acids, are the simple cations. So the simple cations which are having positive charge can behave as acids. More the charge to size ratio, more is going to be the strength of the Lewis acid. For example, we are having two cations, that is tin 2 positive and tin tetra positive. So out of these, which one is better? Acid. So the compound which is having more positive charge is going to be going to have more Lewis acidic character, and out of these, the size of which is small is going to be better Lewis acid, as these are having same charge. And these are some other examples of Lewis acids. Third category is the molecules in which central atom has vacant d orbital. If in the compound the central atom is having vacant d orbitals, that can also behave as Lewis acid, as they can accept electrons from the electron donor species in their vacant d orbitals and extend their valence shell, can have more electrons in their vacant d orbital. So example is AlF3 is getting extra electrons in the vacant d orbitals and getting converted to AlF6 3 negative. So fourth category is molecules with central atom bonded to the electronegative elements through one or more multiple bonds. Here carbon is bonded to, let us take an example for this, for explanation of this. Here carbon in CO2 is bonded to two oxygens through multiple bonds. So what will happen is, these oxygens are going to extract electron density towards this because of the electronegative nature, and carbon is going to be more and more electron deficient. So it will behave as electron deficient species. So it will behave as Lewis acid. Now Lewis bases, according to the Lewis concept, the neutral molecules with at least one lone pair can behave as Lewis base. So here ammonia is an example, and any amine are going to be Lewis base. Negatively charged species, that is anion, more is the charge density, more is the strength of the Lewis base. Third category is the unsaturated hydrocarbons, such as alkenes, alkynes, which are having pi electrons. They can donate their pi electrons to metals which are which are in lower oxidation state, which will behave as Lewis acids. And these species which are having pi electron density with them can behave as Lewis bases. Also, CO, carbon monoxide, here it can act as a ligand as it is having a lone pair with carbon. So it can also act as a Lewis base. So some Lewis acid-base reactions have been discussed here. Here, this ammonia, which is acting as a base because it is having a lone pair, is reacting with H positive, which is an acid, and it gets converted to NH4 positive. This is the Lewis acid-base adduct. And here copper He positive, which is a cation, which will behave as acid. It reacts with ammonia, and this is the kind of adduct formed here. The transfer of electrons here is always shown in the form of a coordinate bond. So this type of reaction can also be explained on the basis of Lewis acid base concept. Here calcium oxide, which is a base, this is a basic oxide and this is an acidic oxide. They will react to give calcium sulfate. Here the base is donating electrons and acid is accepting the electron pair. So this is also an example. These type of reaction can also be explained on the basis of Lewis acid base concept. Now, obviously, the Lewis acid base concept is having wider applicability than the Arrhenius and Bronsted-Lowry concept, but still it is having some limitations. In the Lewis concept, the coordinate bond is there and no complete transfer of electron pair is there. So relative strength of the acids and bases cannot be known in the case of Lewis acid-base concept. Also, it does not fit into the normal acid-base concept of proton donor and proton acceptor. So it cannot explain the acid-base behavior of HCl, H2SO4. So this particular Lewis acid-base concept can only explain the acid-base behavior of the species which can donate electrons and which can accept electrons. So this is the major limitation, and it cannot explain the reactions like esterification, which are catalyzed by the presence of H positive. So Lewis acid do not necessarily contain H positive. This we have already seen. The Lewis acids are those which are electron deficient. They do not necessarily contain H positive. So they cannot explain the progress of such reactions. So this is the limitation, that wherever there is H positive, OH negative, and these species are included, Lewis acid concept fails there. Next concept is Lux flood concepts of acids and bases. This was proposed by Lux. This was a scientist in 1939, and the concept was extended in 1947 by Flood. So that is why it is called as Lux flood concept. Generally applicable to high temperature molten salts. So this concept explains the acidic and basic behavior of oxides majorly. So the acids, according to this concept, the acids are those which can accept oxide ions and bases are those which can donate oxide ions. So here calcium oxide is a base which is generating oxide ion and giving Ca positive, which is acid. SO3 is an acid which is taking up oxide ion and gets converted to SO4 2 negative. So this is a base, this is an acid. These both will react, will get calcium silicate, and here calcium is donating oxide ion to SiO2 and it gets converted to SiO3 2 negative, and calcium is getting converted to calcium dipositive cation. Similar is this reaction. So here it is behaving as base, it is behaving as acid, and this is the acid-base product. So the substances which can act both as oxide donor as well as acceptor, this is similar to those water molecule which we discussed in the Arrhenius, in the Bronsted-Lowry concept, that it could behave both as acids and bases. So those compounds which can behave both as acids and bases are called as amphoteric substances. Here zinc oxide can also accept oxygen and it can also donate oxygen. So it behaves as amphoteric substance. Zinc oxide accepts oxygen and it gets converted to zinc cation. And while behaving as base, it donates O2 negative, that is oxide ion, and gets converted to zinc 2 positive. So this concept was further extended to the, here we explained this concept in the context to oxide donor and oxide acceptor. Oxide donors are the bases, oxide acceptors are the acids, and further this was extended to fluoride donor, fluoride acceptor, sulfide donor. So we can define this concept as they are the anion donor or the anion acceptors. So anion donors are the bases and anion acceptor are the acids. So this was all about this concept. Next concept is Usanovic concept of acids and bases. This is a general concept which included all the concepts so far we have discussed. So according to Usanovic concept, acids are those which reacts with bases to form salts, gives up cations and combines with electrons or anions. So this definition included all the four concepts which we discussed so far, and bases are those which reacts with acids to give salts, gives up anions or electrons and combines with cations. So this is all these three reactions which we have already discussed in one of the concepts which we have discussed. So Usanovic concept was the one which included all the concepts in. So next which we are going to discuss is the last one, that is the solvent system concept of acids and bases. It is also called Caddy-Elsey concept because the scientists were the Caddy and Elsey. So it was proposed in 1928. As each solvent on self-ionization, this is all about the solvent system. In this concept, we'll be talking about the solvent system as each solvent on self-ionization produces a cation and an anion. So can be, which we'll be going to see later. Each solvent can be said to be a parent to cation and anion, right? So according to the solvent system concept, an acid is a substance which either by direct dissociation or by reacting with solvent gives the cation characteristic of the solvent. So an acid is going to be a substance which either by the direct dissociation, if we are dissociating something, and also by reacting with the solvent. If it is giving the cation characteristic of the solvent, then it is going to be an acid in that particular solvent, and the base is going to be the one which either by the direct dissociation or by reacting with the solvent gives the anion characteristic of the solvent, then that is going to be a base. So here water is a universal solvent. So firstly, we are taking up the water as a solvent. Let us see the self-ionization of water. This is the self-ionization of the water. It is giving us the cation and the anion, that is H3O positive and OH negative. Here we can also write one water molecule and write it as H positive and OH negative, but better version is H3O positive. Rather when we use water as solvent, both the cation and anion are much more hydrated and more water molecules are associated with them. But for simplicity, we write it as H3O positive and OH negative. So this is the most acceptable version for the self-ionization for water. So in water, if something is giving us H positive or H3O positive, then it is going to be an acid, and something is giving OH negative, then it is going to be a base. So let us see first example, HCl. We react it with water, we put it in H2O, which is a solvent. So it is going to give us H3O positive and Cl negative. So this is the cation characteristic of water. So this HCl is going to be called as acid. And second is amine. This is ammonia, not amine. So when we put it in water, we are going to get ammonium ion and OH negative. So here we are getting the anion characteristic of the solvent, that is OH negative. So this is going to be called as base according to the solvent system concept. So let us see some of the solvents, self-ionization of different solvents. Here I have written the self-ionization. Ammonia, when it is used as solvent, it self-ionizes to give the cation as ammonium ion and NH2 negative as in cation. And acetic acid, this is the cation, this is the anion. For SO2, liquid SO2, SO2 positive is the cationic part, SO3 negative is the anionic part. These are the self-ionizations of different solvents. So these self-ionization reactions are to be memorized. Only then we can detect detect if it is if something is an acid or base, if we know that what are the cation characteristics and what are the anion characteristics of different solvents. So these are the 6 solvents. First is water. So at least these 6 solvents, you must be knowing the self-ionization of these solvents. You must be knowing the cation characteristic and the anion characteristic of the solvent. This is very easy. Here what they have done is H2SO4. Here just one H positive is added to the whole molecule, and here one H positive is removed. So this is the way to memorize this. So for different solutes, this is an important point that different solutes behave, different compounds behave differently in different solvents. One can behave as acid in one of the solvent, it can behave as neutral molecule in another, and it can behave as base in another solvent. So let us see, here we have an example for urea. And the formula for urea is NH2CO NH2. When we put it in water, what happens is it does not ionize, it just dissolves. It is a water soluble compound. So when we use ammonia as solvent and put urea in it, what will happen is urea will ionize to give ammonium ion and NH2CO NH negative ion. So this ammonium ion, as we have seen the self ionization for the ammonia, liquid ammonia. So this is the cation characteristic of ammonia. So urea is behaving, this means urea is behaving as acid in liquid ammonia, and it is a neutral molecule in water. So, and next we are taking the example of acetic acid. When we are putting acetic acid in water as solvent, so we are getting H3O positive and CH3CO negative. H3O positive is the cation characteristic of water. That means acetic acid is behaving as acid in water. But when we put the same acetic acid in H2SO4, what will happen? It will ionize as CH3COOH2 positive and HSO4 negative. So this is this HSO4 negative is the anion characteristic of the H2SO4. That means acetic acid is behaving as a base. Also, the behavior of acetic acid we can judge from that whenever even if it is an acid, when some mild acid is reacting with a strong acid, then that strong acid is pushes this weak acid to behave as base, and this will definitely behave as acid. And it is a stronger acid in comparison to the acetic acid, so it will behave as acid and it will behave as base. So acetic acid behaves as base in H2SO4. Also, this is also clear from the self-ionization reaction of H2SO4, where we are getting this. So next, this was all about all the 6 concepts. We have discussed the 6 concepts, that is Arrhenius. Second one was the Bronsted-Lowry. Third one was the Lewis concept. Fourth one was the Lux flood. Then we discussed about the Usanovich concept, and the last one was the solvent system concept. So in the next videos, in the upcoming videos, we'll be discussing the different concepts, different compounds, and their acidic and basic trends based upon these 6 concepts. So that what are these concepts is very important to learn about these concepts, what they say. So you can memorize them in the sequence as AB, LLUS, ABLUS. So that will be easy, that they are coming one after the other and they are interrelated. So in this way, they can be memorized. So that is it for this video. Thank you so much.